Let me tell you something most men don't realize until it's too late. She didn't walk away because you lacked love. She didn't disappear because you didn't try hard enough. In fact, you gave her everything: your time, your focus, your affection, your attention. You made her feel like the center of your world, and you were convinced that doing so would win her over completely. But somewhere along the way, she began to drift. Her replies became shorter, her eyes less engaged, her presence more distant. And you stood there, confused, wondering how someone you gave so much to could pull away like that. The truth is painful, but necessary. She didn't leave because you weren't enough. She left because you gave too much, too early, without requiring her to truly earn it. Most men fall into this trap. They mistake giving everything for being valuable. But real value isn't handed out, tits felt. It's sensed in your energy, in your silence, in your presence. Women don't fall for constant availability. They fall for a man who is centered, grounded, and self-respecting. When you hand over your soul before she's even proven she can, handle your time, you turn yourself into something expected, ordinary, and easy to leave. Not because you lack heart, but because you never made her reach for yours. Desire isn't born in comfort. It's born in curiosity. Sparked in the unknown, the mystery, the steady presence of a man who doesn't rush the process. When you try to impress, you lose your edge. But when you simply are, when you hold your own value without trying to prove it, she begins to lean in. Not because she's told to, but because she feels something different, something rare. That's what changes everything. She doesn't remember the man who told her everything. She remembers the one who made her feel something without saying much at all. There's a reason the quiet, calm man stays in her mind long after others fade. It's not about silence for the sake of mystery, it's about presence. Real, grounded presence. The kind that doesn't rush to fill every moment with words or explanations. He doesn't try to win her with endless compliments or dramatic gestures. Knows his value isn't in what he gives away, but in what he contains. And that stillness, that quiet confidence, pulls her in. She doesn't know why she keeps thinking about him, but she does. Because when a man doesn't try to convince, she starts to wonder. And in that wondering, desire begins to form. Most men feel pressured to perform. They think love is about doing more, saying more, proving more. But the man she craves understands the power of doing less, but with more intention. He speaks slowly. He doesn't rush to fill silences. He listens. Not just with his ears, but with his presence. His calm isn't emptiness, it's depth. That depth becomes intoxicating. She starts to ask herself, what is he thinking? Why does he feel so steady? That intrigue builds a connection no words can create. When you reveal just enough and leave the rest unspoken, you give her mind something to play with. And women don't just fall in love through conversation, they fall through imagination. Through the emotional tension of not knowing everything but feeling something real. That's where the bond deepens. It's not in your performance, but in your restraint. In the art of letting her feel your essence without needing to explain it. That's the difference between attraction and obsession. Most men think being always available is a sign of love. They think the more they show up, the more they stay close, the more she'll feel secure and stay invested. But what they don't realize is this. Constant presence can start to feel like emotional noise. When you're always there, always giving, always trying, your presence loses its weight. It becomes predictable, and eventually it becomes invisible. What truly captivates a woman is not just your presence, it's your intention. She doesn't crave a man who's constantly around. She craves the man who knows when to show up and how to make that moment unforgettable. The man who understands this doesn't pull back to manipulate. He pulls back because his life has direction. Not always available, because he's not always looking for her attention. His presence is rare, but when it's there, it's felt. She leans in not because he forces her to, but because she wants to feel that presence again. That moment when time slows down, when his energy enters the room, and everything becomes still, that's not something she can find in just any man. That's something she remembers. When you're deliberate with your presence, she begins to miss you. And in that space of missing, a new energy awakens desire. longing, anticipation. The absence of your constant attention makes her wonder where you are, what you're thinking, why you've stepped back. And that wondering builds emotional charge. She wants to reach out. She wants to feel that spark again. That's the space where real connection deepens, not through proximity, but through contrast. When you master the balance between presence and space, you stop being the man she gets used to and become the one she can't forget. Every woman, at some point, will test you. Not to manipulate you, but to feel something deeper from you. She needs to know, can you handle pressure, or do you fold when emotions rise? Most men collapse under this weight. They react, argue, defend themselves, or seek instant reassurance. But the man who truly captivates her doesn't react from emotion. He responds from awareness. He doesn't rush to prove he's right or beg to be understood. He stays grounded, breathing slowly, rooted in who he is. And in that stillness, she feels something rare: stability. This isn't about being cold. It's about emotional control. He feels deeply, but he's not reckless with those feelings. He doesn't bleed all over someone just because he's hurting. He honors his emotions without becoming a prisoner to them. She senses that strength, that depth, that quiet fire. It draws her in because it tells her he's a man who can carry not only his own chaos, but hers too. When she pushes, he doesn't push back. He stays present. When she withdraws, he doesn't chase. He holds the space. His strength isn't loud. It's calm, contained, undeniable. And in that emotional control, she finds something she didn't even know she was looking for: safety. Because safety to a woman isn't just about being protected physically. It's about knowing the man beside her won't fall apart when she needs him most. And when she sees that he won't be shaken, that he won't spiral when challenged, her guard drops. Her walls soften. She doesn't feel the need to dominate. She feels the desire to surrender, not because she's weak, but because he's strong. And that strength, that rare stillness in the storm, that's what makes her stay. That's what makes her trust. He doesn't try to impress her. He doesn't rehearse lines, change his personality, or bend himself just to win her approval. He shows up exactly as he is, rooted and complete, because he knows something most men don't. The moment you try to prove your worth, you're silently admitting you don't believe in it. And she can feel that. She can feel when a man is acting from insecurity, when his compliments are really bids for validation, when his love is wrapped in need. That's not strength. It's dependence masked as romance. But the man who stands, out the one she keeps coming back to, he doesn't perform, he aligns. His words match his energy, his body language matches his confidence. His eyes tell her the truth before his mouth ever opens. He's consistent, not because he's trying to be, but because there's no gap between who he is and how he shows up. That congruence creates something powerful: trust. And trust creates desire. She starts to notice he would be the same with or without her. That he's not moved by attention, not shaken by silence. He's moving in his own direction, with or without company. That's the man she wants. Not because he needs her, but because he doesn't. He chooses her without losing himself. And that's what makes him magnetic. You don't need to be loud to be seen. You just need to be true. Be rooted. Be rare. Women aren't waiting for a flawless man. They're waiting for one who's whole, one who can love her fully without losing himself in the process. When you stop trying to be the man she wants and start being the man you truly are, she feels something deeper, something real. That's when she leans in. That's when she stays.